First of all, I think when people hear about ROV, mostly they are connected to oil and gas industry. There are not so many in the world related to science. There are maybe 20, maybe 15 are world-class ROVs that goes really deep in the ocean to explore the bottom of the ocean, and they have been changed to work with science. They have been added tools. They have instruments. They have really good cameras to see what's happening and to collect samples from the bottom of the ocean. So, in a daily basis, in our work, we do the maintenance of the ROV. As you can see behind me, this is the ROV. It begins on the yellow part. The yellow part, it's the flotation part, so it's kind of a buoy. It compensates the weight of the ROV. The ROV weighs 2 tons, approximately. So everything below the yellow part, it's instrumentation and the electronics part. So we have, in a daily basis, do the maintenance of all these parts, beginning with the electronics, and the most important thing before each campaign and after each campaign is to prepare the ROV for it, like re-terminating the umbilical. That's why it's an ROV. The ROV stands for remotely operated vehicle. So there is an umbilical, like a mom and a baby. They are connected. The ROV is connected to the ship by an umbilical. I don't know if you could see there are a yellow cable on the top.
Yeah.
Maybe we can give some photographs to see in a little more detail, where passes the energy and the data in real time to the surface. So re-terminating the umbilical, it's one of the tasks, because in rough seas or when we dive too much, it's the critical part that gets more sensitive after each campaign. So we have to do the maintenance of all the electronics. We have to check if everything is working all right. If we integrate a new sensor, we have to do the to integrate it in our softwares, to integrate it in the ROV, to see if it doesn't weigh too much, if we have to compensate in other ways. We have to check the propellers. There are 4 propellers horizontal, so we can move, and 3 vertical, so we can descend and ascend the ROV. There are, I don't know if you could see, there are arms on the front. There is a big one here, and there are another one there. It's like having your own arms on the bottom of the ocean. It's with the arms that we can manage all the tools that we have on the ROV to collect the samples. And on the bottom of the ROV, we have the sampling part that we have to make sure that they are working well before each campaign. Like this big black box is where we put the big samples, like rocks or big animals. Here, it's not very, I don't think you can see it very well too, but it's like a small aquariums, like 5 chambers, where we do suctions. We vacuum some sediment or small organisms from the bottom, and we can do it by rotating each chamber, and they are 5 individual samples from each place we want to collect. And I think the most important thing, it's even if we weren't able to collect any of the samples, we have cameras, and just by seeing what it's on the bottom, it would be very helpful for the scientists to do habitat mapping or just identifying new species or seeing new things, because just like landing on the moon, it's like landing on the first time on that dive and see what's new. And so don't get I don't get too much excited. Let's get back to what I do on a daily basis. So after the maintenance, we have to prepare the logistics. So we have to bring spare parts for the campaign because we are in the middle of the Atlantic. So it's we cannot manage to have a day off unless it's about the weather. If we have a thruster or something that is not good, or we have to replace it, we have to prepare these logistics before we go to campaign. And that's one of the things I do too. And we do some tests we have a test tank here in our headquarters too, and we do some tests here also before we go to the sea. And aside from the ROV, I'm also connected to an operational part of the task group that has a small RIB for doing small campaigns here in the river, with some other equipments like a magnetometer, a side scan, doing some samples from the bottom of the river, like small dredges or water samples. And mostly that's what I do, apart from the bureaucratic that everyone does in their emails.